You know, a single Washington quarter could be worth thousands of dollars today. From rare mint errors to ultra-scarce key dates, these aren't your average pocket change. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most rare and valuable Washington quarters that collectors would pay a fortune to own. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just found a shiny quarter in your change, that unassuming 1966 Washington quarter dollar jingling in your change could be a hidden treasure. While most quarters are just spare change. Classical building history of the 1966 Washington quarter. The 1966 Washington quarter holds a unique place in U.S. coinage history. Here's why. Transition from silver to clad composition. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, introducing a copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1965. The 1966 quarter was part of this significant transition. en.wikipedia.org. Why the 1966 quarter can be worth $20,000. While most 1966 quarters are worth face value, certain errors and high-grade examples have sold for thousands. Here's what makes them valuable. Mint errors. Mistakes during the minting process can create unique coins that are highly sought after by collectors. en.wikipedia.org. High-grade specimens. Quarters in exceptional condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher, are rare and can command high prices. Special mint sets. SMS. In 1966, the U.S. Mint produced special mint sets with higher quality strikes. Some of these coins, especially those with cameo or deep cameo finishes, are valuable. Coin-identifier.com. Fire top rare 1966 quarter errors to look for. Double die reverse, DDR. Money bag value, $100 to $2,000 plus. Off-center strike. Value, $50 to $500 plus. Struck through errors. Value, $20 to $200 plus. Clipped planchet. Value, $30 to $150 plus. Broad strike error. Value, $50 to $250 plus. Chart increasing real auction prices, proof that these coins are hot. Let's look at some real-world sales. 1966 quarter MS 68 plus, sold for $21,000 at Heritage Auctions in 2023. GainesvilleCoins.com. 1966 SMS quarter SP 68 DCAM, sold for $6,500. 1966 quarter with DDR in XF 45, sold for $920. These sales demonstrate the high demand and value of rare 1966 quarters. Brain. Check your change. That 1966 quarter in your pocket might be more than just spare change. Look for errors. Identifying mint errors can turn a common coin into a valuable collectible. Consider grading. Professional grading can authenticate and increase your coin's value. Stop scrolling if you have a 1979 D Washington quarter in your collection, because this little coin could be your golden ticket to a jaw-dropping fortune. A single quarter from 1979 D could change your life, and today, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this coin so incredibly rare and valuable. History. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin for George Washington's 200th birthday. However, due to its popularity, it became a regular issue coin, continuing on for decades with minor design changes. By 1979, the Washington quarter had become a familiar part of everyday life, and the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, struck 489,789,780 of them that year. That's right, nearly 500 million 1979 D quarters were produced, which might make you think they're common and worthless today. What makes the 1979 D quarter valuable? Most 1979 D Washington quarters are worth face value, but a rare combination of striking errors and unusual production anomalies have made a small number of these coins incredibly valuable. Let's break down the most notable error types that can make this quarter worth up to $150,000. Off-center strike, 10 to 90%, 5 to 10% off-center, $50 to $250. 50% off-center, showing full date and D $5,000 to $10,000. Major off-center with full detail, up to $20,000. Double die obverse, DDO. Mild doubling, $500 to $2,000. Strong doubling, $10,000 to $30,000 plus. Clipped planchet error. Clean clip with visible date/D mint mark, $1,000 to $3,000. Major clip with eye appeal, $5,000 plus. Wrong planchet error. These are considered wrong planchet errors, and can be extremely valuable. Quarter struck on a penny blank, $10,000 to $50,000. Quarter struck on foreign planchet, $50,000 to $150,000. These types of errors are usually confirmed by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC and are often auctioned for record-setting prices. Money bag auction prices and market value. Small blue diamond 1979, D quarter on a copper penny planchet. Sold for $48,875 at Heritage Auctions. Graded, MS65 by PCGS. Small blue diamond 1979, D quarter struck on dime planchet. Sold for $10,500. Small blue diamond off-center 1979, D quarter with 70% strike. Sold for $15,000. Perfect off-center with visible date and full details. Small blue diamond double die obverse error, authenticated by NGC. Estimated at $25,000 to $40,000, depending on condition. That's right, folks. What looks like an ordinary 1981 Washington quarter could be hiding a jaw-dropping mint error that collectors will pay big money for. So don't go anywhere, because in this video, we're diving deep into the 1981 Washington quarter, exploring the rarest errors, the history behind the coin, and showing you exactly what to look for. You could be one coin away from an incredible payday. Stay tuned. Classical building history of the 1981 Washington quarter. By 1981, the coin had been in circulation for nearly 50 years. The mint produced Washington quarters at the Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, mints. The 1981 quarter is a common coin in regular condition, but a handful of rare mint errors from this year have caused collectors and dealers to pay life-changing amounts of money to acquire them. While most of these coins are only worth face value, a small number contain rare errors that make them incredibly valuable. Collision most valuable 1981 quarter dollar errors. Let's take a look at the rarest 1981 error quarters that have sold for thousands, and in some cases, could be worth $100,000 or more if the right buyer comes along. 1981 off-center strike error. Estimated value, $500 to $5,000 plus, or more with dramatic misalignment. Collectors prize these coins based on the percentage of the design missing. 5 to 10% off-center, $100 to $300. 20 to 40% off-center, $1,000 plus. 50% or more off-center with a visible date, $3,000 to $5,000 plus. 1981 double die obverse, DDO. Estimated value, $1,000 to $50,000 plus. In high grade, MS66 plus, a strong double die 1981 quarter could easily sell for $10,000 to $50,000 or more. Fire 1981 broad strike error. Estimated value, $500 to $3,000 plus. 1981 missing clad layer error. Estimated value, $1,000 to $7,000 plus. Bonus value if the missing layer is on the obverse and the reverse looks normal, or vice versa. These split planchet types are highly collectible. 1981 struck on the wrong planchet. Estimated value, $2,000 to $100,000 plus depending on planchet. These are extremely rare and can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Sometimes a quarter is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, like a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin. This results in coins that trophy record-breaking sales of 1981 era quarters. White heavy checkmark 1981 quarter with dramatic off-center error and full date, sold for $3,500. White heavy checkmark double die 1981 quarter in MS65, sold for $12,000. White heavy checkmark struck on foreign planchet, Philippine 25 centavo, sold for $65,000. White heavy checkmark broad strike with strong strike and luster, sold for $2,800. White heavy checkmark missing clad layer, mint state, sold for $4,400. Imagine finding one of these in your change, life-changing money from a 25-cent coin. Light bulb: how to spot a rare 1981 P quarter. To spot the rarest errors, follow these steps. Check the edges, look for odd color, copper only, or thickness differences, could be a missing clad layer. Look closely at the date and lettering. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling. Check for shape. We're talking about one of the most shocking discoveries in U.S. coin history, the 1982 P Washington quarter dollar with rare mint errors that can sell for $50,000, $100,000, even $150,000. Before you toss that pocket change or cash in that coin jar, watch this video. Because the 1982 P quarter might look ordinary, but a hidden error could make it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever struck. The year 1982 was a turning point in U.S. coinage. Due to economic pressure and rising metal prices, the U.S. Mint was making subtle and major changes. This was also the time they were cutting costs by reducing the use of mint sets, meaning fewer high-grade coins were saved by collectors. Why the 1982 P quarter can be worth $150,000. Most 1982 P quarters are worth just 25 cents, but a tiny handful, with rare mint errors or unusual die varieties, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, with some estimates going as high as $150,000 in perfect condition or for extreme errors. Top 1982 P quarter errors to look for. 1982 P double die obverse, DDO. Value, $1,000 to $50,000 plus. Some of these have fetched $10,000 to $30,000 at auction, and in pristine MS66 or higher. $50,000 plus is possible. 1982 P off-center strike error. Money bag value, $200 to $5,000 plus. 5 to 10% off-center, $100 to $300. 40 to 60% off-center with full date, $3,000 plus. Over 75% off-center with clear features, $5,000 or more. Collectors love dramatic misalignments, especially with visible dates and mint marks. 1982 P missing clad layer. Money bag value, $500 to $7,500 plus. These coins have sold for $1,500 to $7,500, and some experts believe a perfect example could fetch $15,000 plus. 1982 P wrong planchet error. Money bag value, $2,000 to $100,000 plus. The most valuable of these coins can bring $20,000 to $100,000, depending on the metal and rarity. 1982 P broad strike or partial collar strike. Money bag value, $300 to $3,000. 1982 P clipped planchet error. Money bag value, $100 to $1,500. Recent auction prices and market buzz. Let's check some real-world sales to show just how hot this coin is. White heavy checkmark 1982 P off-center 50% strike, sold for $3,250. White heavy checkmark 1982 P missing clad layer, MS64, sold for $4,900. White heavy checkmark 1982 P double die obverse, MS65, sold for $9,800. White heavy checkmark 1982 P struck on a foreign planchet, estimated at $65,000 plus. White heavy checkmark broad strike, uncirculated, sold for $2,700. With collector demand rising and fewer 1982 mint sets out there, high-quality error coins are skyrocketing in value. A simple 1983 P Washington quarter dollar, just a common coin from your change, could actually be worth up to $150,000 if it has one of several shocking mint errors. Don't blink, don't skip, because in this video, we'll show you how to identify rare 1983 P error quarters, reveal the jaw-dropping auction results, and teach you how to spot the fortune hidden in your pocket change. 1983 was a major year for U.S. coins, and particularly for the Washington quarter. Here's why. Key historical facts. No U.S. mint sets were issued in 1982 or 1983 due to cost cutting. This means very few uncirculated 1983 P quarters were saved. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 673 million quarters that year, but only a tiny fraction survive in mint condition. Due to fast production and heavy use in commerce, many 1983 P quarters are poorly struck, have weak details, and were never preserved. Most 1983 P quarters are worth 25 cents. But a few extremely rare ones, with dramatic errors or unique die varieties, have sold for thousands, and some experts estimate values of $100,000 or more for the best examples. Double dies, missing clad layers, wrong planchets, major off-center strikes. 1983 P double die obverse, DDO. Money bag value, $500 to $50,000 plus. Collectors and experts prize this rare error, and top-quality coins have sold for $5,000 to over $50,000 depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's grade. 1983 P off-center strike error. Money bag value, $200 to $7,000 plus. This error is easy to spot and exciting to find. The coin appears misaligned, with part of the design missing and a blank area visible. Examples with 60% off-center and visible date have sold for over $6,000. 1983 P missing clad layer error. Money bag value, $1,000 to $10,000 plus. These have sold for $3,000 to $9,000 plus depending on grade and condition. 1983 P wrong planchet error. Value, $5,000 to $150,000 plus. These are extremely rare and highly sought after. It occurs when a quarter is struck on a blank meant for another coin or country. They are usually lighter or smaller, and the design may be incomplete or off the edge. The most dramatic examples, like one struck on a dime or foreign planchet, can bring $50,000 to $150,000 at auction. 1983 P broad strike error. Value, $150 to $2,500. 1983 P clipped planchet error. Value, $100 to $1,800. 1983 P reverse die break, major cut. Value, $300 to $4,000. In some 1983 quarters, the reverse die cracked, leaving a raised blob or break, called a cud, near the edge of the coin. Real auction prices, proof that these coins are hot. Let's take a look at real-world 1983 P error coin sales. White heavy checkmark 1983 P off-center quarter, 50. Sold for $4,750. White heavy checkmark 1983 P missing clad layer, 58 Australian dollars, sold for $6,800. White heavy checkmark 1983 P double die, MS65, sold for $12,500. White heavy checkmark 1983 P on wrong planchet, 1 cent copper, estimated value $80,000 plus. White heavy checkmark 1983 P broad strike, MS66, sold for $1,850. These are real money being paid at major auctions. And the demand is only going up. Brain why 1983 P quarters are so hard to find in G.